Have you ever walked down a busy street, looked around at everyone rushing past, and felt like you were the only one holding it all together by a single invisible thread? We look at the faces around us, polished, smiling, composed. We look at our coworkers, our neighbors, the people on our social feeds, and they all seem to have received an instruction manual for life that we somehow missed. Meanwhile, on the inside, we might be navigating a quiet storm, a wave of sudden anxiety before a presentation, a sharp, stinging flash of envy toward a close friend, a heavy, unexplainable sadness that hits us on a random Tuesday afternoon. So what do? We do what we've been trained to do since childhood. We squeeze it down. We swallow the lump in our throat. We put on a pleasant face because, well, we want to be easy to get along with. We want to be accepted. But I want to ask you a very honest question today. In the process of getting others to accept us, are we rejecting ourselves? Today, we are going to talk about a hidden emotional tax that almost all of us are paying without even realizing it. It's the psychological cost of trying to be perfect. And more importantly, we're going to look at how we can stop fighting our own humanity and finally start healing. Imagine for a moment what a city street would look like if nobody reined in their emotions. Think about it. If we completely let go of the steering wheel, Main Street would become a total jungle. People throwing rude comments at passersby just because they didn't like how they looked. Obscenities echoing down the sidewalk every time a traffic light took too long. People bursting into uncontrollable tears of misery or joy in the middle of a grocery aisle, or acting aggressively on every single primal impulse. Civilization would collapse. Our relationships, our families, our communities, they would completely fall apart if our raw emotions were exposed 100% of the time. So, we learn the rules of society. We learn to suppress our base instincts. We learn to control our emotions in public. And let's be fair, this is a good thing. It is an absolute necessity to survive, let alone thrive in a shared world. But here is where the trap snaps shut. Because we are taught that it is improper to display our anxiety or to cry in public, we make a massive subconscious mistake. We start holding our emotions back in private, too. We tell ourselves that because an emotion shouldn't be displayed, it shouldn't be felt. We try to keep certain emotions out of sight when we are with others, which is necessary. But then we try to keep them out of mind when we are completely alone. And that, my friends, is where the damage begins. I want to try a quick experiment with you right now. Wherever you are, as you listen to my voice, I want you to give me just 10 seconds of your time. For the next 10 seconds, I want you to close your eyes, or just look down, and tell yourself not to think of a white bear. Do not, under any circumstances, let a white bear enter your mind. Don't think about its thick white fur. Don't think about its paws. Don't think about it sitting in the snow. Total white bear ban. Starting now. If you're like 99% of the human population, your mind was immediately flooded with images of a white bear. This isn't a personal failure. It's a proven psychological phenomenon explored by researchers like Daniel Wegner and Richard Wenzloff called thought suppression. When you tell your brain not to think about something, a part of your mind has to constantly scan your thoughts to make sure the forbidden item isn't popping up. And by constantly scanning for it, your brain keeps that exact thought fresh, active, and intense. Now, take that exact concept and apply it to your inner world. When you tell yourself, I shouldn't feel anxious about this project, or I am a terrible person for feeling angry or envious right now, you are trying to suppress a white bear. You are fighting the natural flow of your inner life. And what happens? The water pressure builds up. The anxiety intensifies. The anger deepens. The sadness darkens. By refusing to allow the emotion to exist, you are accidentally pouring gasoline right onto the fire. In his groundbreaking work, Harvard psychologist Dr. Tal Ben Shahar draws a beautiful, profound line between two types of people: the perfectionist and the optimalist. The perfectionist believes that a happy life is a straight line of constant success, neatness, and positive emotions. When a perfectionist feels a painful emotion like fear, rage, or grief, they reject it. They see it as a flaw in their system, a glitch that needs to be forcefully deleted. But the optimalist understands something much deeper. The optimalist operates on a fundamental truth of human nature. Painful emotions are an inevitable part of being alive. Think about the great philosophical father of the scientific revolution, Francis Bacon. He famously wrote, "Nature to be commanded must be obeyed." What did he mean by that? He meant that if scientists wanted to build airplanes, they couldn't just pretend gravity didn't exist. They had to accept the law of gravity first, work with it, obey it, and only then could they channel it to fly. The same rule applies to our inner lives. We cannot experience psychological affluence, true, deep, sustainable happiness, if we disregard our human hardware. Painful emotions are built into our nature. To try to build a life where they don't exist is like trying to build a house without gravity. The optimalist doesn't love feeling anxious or sad, but they give themselves what Dr. Ben Shahar calls the permission to be human. They stop fighting the waves and learn to ride them. So, how do we practically do this? How do we heal the pressure building up inside our emotional pipelines? Oxford psychologist Mark Williams discovered that when we feel down or anxious, our automatic instinct is to treat our feelings like a broken car. We go into a problem-solving, doing mode. We ask, why do I feel this way? How do I fix it? What is wrong with me? But his research showed that trying to fix our emotions using standard logic usually just digs us in deeper. It traps us in an endless mental loop called rumination, where the same painful thoughts replay over and over like a broken record. The solution doesn't lie in the fixing mode. It lies in the accepting and being mode. Instead of trying to eliminate the discomfort, we turn toward it with friendly curiosity. If you feel anxiety, instead of fighting it, you take a deep breath and simply notice where it lives in your body. Is it a tightness in your chest? A fluttering in your stomach? A dry mouth? You don't try to change it, you just take a mental note of it. You give it permission to be there for as long as it needs to be, knowing that every single emotion, if left alone, will naturally peak, weaken, and eventually fade away, just like the morning frost melting under the sun. And let's be clear, this acceptance cannot be a trick. It can't be pseudo-acceptance. You can't say, okay, I'll accept my anxiety for 5 minutes so that I can perform perfectly. That doesn't work. True acceptance means saying, I am upset right now, and I am willing to sit with this discomfort, even if I don't feel better right away. We don't need to scream on Main Street. We don't need to shout at our colleagues or let our impulses run wild in public. But when we are in private, we must provide a channel for our emotions to flow. And to make sure we don't just stop at listening, tonight, I want to challenge you to a small homework assignment called Practicing the Permission to Be Human. 1. Step 1. Pause and observe. 5 minutes. Tonight, think of a negative emotion you are holding on to, whether it is anxiety, frustration, or sadness. Close your eyes and feel where that emotion is living inside your body. Observe it and soothe it by saying to yourself, I allow this pain to be present right here, and when things feel lighter, let this emotion be free to leave. 2. Step 2. Clear the pipeline. 20 minutes. After observing the emotion, open a journal. Spend 20 minutes doing a free write. No filtering, no judging. Pour out everything that is making you stressed, angry, or heavy-hearted onto the pages to let your emotional pipeline flow freely. 3. Step 3. Journal your insights. 5 minutes. Once you have finished writing down all those undesirable experiences, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, is there a desirable lesson I can learn from this experience? What deeper insight have I realized from my own personal growth? Write that lesson down with gratitude. 4. Step 4. Share your experience. After 1 month. When you practice this exercise and begin to see positive changes after a month, pass it along to the people who you feel need it most. Remember, when you give away the best of what you have, you will be the one who receives the most in return. If you love exploring insights on energy, happiness studies, and positive psychology, don't forget to like and subscribe to Simply Happy Now channel to follow our journey toward living a fully happy life.